Right now, I'm challenging myself to see if I can make 128 Regulation H teams that are each different from one another over the course of 128 days. Why 128, you might ask? At the end of the 128 days, we're going to do something special where we battle every team against each other in a single elimination bracket to see which team emerges on top. There will be some competitively strong teams, there will be some gimmick teams, and there will be some probably a good number of goofs and gaffs in there, so if you want to follow through to the end, subscribe so that you can keep up with each day. But without further ado, let's move on to day 45. Alright everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to be going over a drag mag team. Now, drag mag is a term that was coined somewhere around Gen 4 or Gen 5, I'm not exactly sure of the specifics, but dragon and steel types were very powerful in Gens 4 and 5 because dragon types would hit everything since we didn't have fairy types invented yet, except for steel types, but you could just bring your own steel types to beat the dragon types, and they would have a little trade-off there, so drag is the dragons, and mag is the magnets, or the steel types. But we have brought drag mag into the current day in order to build a team with Pokemon that start with drag or mag. So starting off with Dragonite, our Dragonite is a pretty popular set that's being used everywhere, where we have a lot of coverage moves in the extreme speed, the Terra Blast, which we're Terra Flying, so not only will we get stabbed on Terra Flying once we're Terra Flying, we also get Terra Flying damage once we're Terra Flying, so we'll be doing a lot of damage with Terra Blast, hopefully, since Dragonite doesn't really have good flying physical moves. And we also have the Stomping Tantrum for whenever we get flinched, because we're multi-scale, because we want to be a little bit more tanky on this Dragonite, and it's also more likely that we're going to get flinched, but being able to hit anything with a ground-type Stomping Tantrum, especially after being flinched and getting the power doubled, is really nice. And we also have Ice Spinner in order to get rid of the opponent terrains. And just in case you need a refresher on what multi-scale does, as long as Dragonite is at full HP, the damage that we take from the first attack that Dragonite receives is halved. So more often than not, this will allow us to position Dragonite in places where it's very hard to get rid of turn 1, and then deal some good chip damage into the opponent. We also have the Lumberry in order to avoid getting burned or put into sleep. We can consume our Lumberry for 1 turn, and then after that we won't have an item. And there's a good number of Flame Body Mons running around, like Volcarona and also Magmar. I guess some of the Magmars run Flame Body. Up next, we got Dragapult, and Dragapult, of course, is the fastest Pokemon in the format except for Electrode, but Electrode isn't real. In our Dragapult, we're going to be running Choice Band so that we can get the most damage possible, and we're going to be using Dragon Darts, Dragapult's signature move, which hits twice into both opponents unless they protect, in which case the darts will redirect. Or there's a fairy type, it'll redirect to the other Pokemon because we won't be able to hit the Dragon Darts. Basically, it's 250 base power moves, it just depends on how the opponent positions their Mons about who takes what damage. And for our Ghost type damage, we have the option for Terra Ghost, Terra Blast, which will give us that immediate Terra Ghost burst damage, but we can also just resort to the Phantom Force if there's maybe like 2 Pokemon left in the field and we just need to take them out with Phantom Force. We don't have to use our Ghost Terra in order to get Dragapult to deal Ghost type damage, and since we're so fast, we can just be running that Choice Band U-turn and do a lot of damage into Grass types and Psychic types. Our Dragapult's also going to be Clear Bunny so that we're not getting intimidated or Ice Wind speed dropped or any of that kind of jazz. And we're going max speed so that we're not getting outsped by other Dragapults in the format, and all the rest of it's going into attack since we're Choice Band. Next up, we got Dragalge, and Dragalge is kind of special because Dragalge is a very hard-hitting Pokemon because of its adaptability ability, and since we have Dragon and Poison as our stab, we can hit a lot of types for super effective damage, and Dragalge also has a good number of slotted moves, and our 2 slotted moves that we're going to be using are Thunderbolt and the Scald, just because they're very high base power moves, and we don't have water-type damage on anywhere else on this team. I also just decided to go with Terra Poison since I don't think defensive Terra matters too much on Dragalge, since it's really not meant to take too much of a hit, and the Poison offense I think matters a little bit more. Next up, we got our first Magmar, and Magmar is going to be our redirection Pokemon as we're Eviolite, so that means that we're going to have our defenses boosted by 1.5 times. So we also have the Vital Spirit ability, which means that we can't be put to sleep, so we can redirect sleep into Magmar and it won't affect Magmar, as well as a lot of different forms of damage. Magmar will soak it up pretty good. And we also have the Knockoff for getting rid of items with Magmar, and we have the Will-O-Wisp for hindering the opponent's physical moves, as well as we have the Clear Smog Smog for getting rid of stat changes from the opponent, mostly just Dondozo, as we are Terra Grass to avoid taking water type damage super effectively. Next up we got Magnezone, and Magnezone is pretty simple. We're analytic because we want Magnezone to have a very strong power move. It's also why we're Terra Electric, because we only become weak to ground after that, and Dragalge and Magmar and Magcargo are all weak to ground on this team, but we're just gonna have to cross our fingers that Dragonite or Dragapult can deal with the ground types that the opponent has after we use our Terrestrialization on one of these other Pokemon. Magnezone is going to be running all stab moves in the Thunderbolt and the Flash Cannon, and the Volt Switch will give us some either slow pivoting or fast pivoting if it's like a really slow team. And Magnezone's pretty bulky, so we can afford to run Leftovers as an item that might save us for a turn depending on the situation. And lastly, we have Magcargo, and Magcargo is pretty self-explanatory, honestly. I feel like everything on this team is actually pretty self-explanatory, but Magcargo might be the most explanatory one, as Magcargo gets the Shell Smash, and we put everything that we have on Magcargo into speed and special attack to hope that Magcargo can at least get to outspeeding something, as we have a lot of offensive moves in the Heat Wave and the Power Gem and the Earth Power, which gives us a lot of super effective hits that this team didn't previously have anywhere. As well as Magcargo is going to be rocking the Terra Dragon, because it gives us a lot of good resistances, and we're going to be Expert Belt so that we can boost the power of our super effective hits. And we're Flame Body because the other two abilities this Magcargo set just aren't good, but also getting the 30% chance to burn is a nice addition. But yeah, that's it for the team. Let's get into some battles. First up, we have a battle against a rain team, but they also do have the Garganacl for stall, and this is a best of 3 game, by the way, so I could see all of their items. And the Goldengo was Choice Scarf, which I only realized in the middle of the battle, but that pressures our Dragapult because it's probably faster than Dragapult. But we start Magmar and Dragapult, as I'm hoping that they lead Kingdra, and they do lead Kingdra because Kingdra by far is the most damaging thing on this team, because the only Pokemon that can really safely deal with it is like Dragonite once we tear it of flying, because we can take the multi-scale, or Magnezone if Magnezone happens to take the water type move pretty well, but other than that, everything on this team is threatened by the Kingdra. So we give out the first turn, they go Terra Fairy, which I'm fine with because I went for the Follow Me this turn, and Muddy Water is going to do good damage into both of our Mons, and it gets an accuracy drop on Magmar, but we at least get to take down Kingdra with our Terra Ghost, Terra Blast, and we do not get taken down by the Politoed. But Magmar does get a speed drop, and now they bring in Goldengo, and this is where I realized that Goldengo was Choice Scarf, but they decide to swap out Goldengo as they bring in Garganacl, so they revealed all their Mons to me at least, and we get to knock off the Garganacl's leftovers here, so any damage we do to it will be sticking at this point. Politoed protects, and I decided to Follow Me, and they Salt Cure into Magmar, and I tried to Thunderbolt into Politoed because I really thought they were going to swap back into Goldengo, and then their Garganacl will then resist this, or the Garganacl slot would then resist the Steel type move coming from Magnezone. But they just take out Magmar for free here. But Politoed took a Protect turn, so we just Stomping Tantrum to Garganacl in order to do some damage into it. Yeah, I see with Politoed, and that's gonna speed drop both Pokemon on the field, and they get the Salt Cure into Dragonite. But this time I just Flash Cannon into the Garganacl, figuring that I can deal with it, as Magnezone is a Steel type, so I really didn't want to be in a Garganacl endgame, but Shadow Ball comes out into Dragonite, and Weather Ball comes out into Magnezone, and they don't KO either slot, so we get the Stomping Tantrum into Goldengo, and we crit the Politoed, which I don't know if that one mattered, but it certainly did help things, as now the Goldengo, who is Choice Scarfed into Shadow Ball, has to choose whether or not to KO Dragapult or Magnezone, and we can get the KO with either Mon that we have left. Oh, and I didn't save the game after this because the opponent just full quit here. Okay, here we had an actual full game where the opponent played it the entire way out, and they're using a Trick Room team, but as we'll see whenever the battle begins, I start Dragapult and Dragonite because I figure that's my best way of keeping Trick Room from going up. They lead Indeedee or Ursaluna, but their Indeedee is not actually Psychic Surge, but we would have solved that pretty fine because Dragonite has Ice Spinner. So I just double into Indeedee in order to get rid of it, and they just attacked with Ursaluna, which makes me kind of wish that I attacked into Ursaluna. But now they get up Sinistcha, and Sinistra's going to Terra Fairy, so
can get up the Trick Room, as we knock off Sinistcha in order to get rid of its Figgy Berry, and I Terra Blast into Ursaluna trying to do some damage into it, but they Earth Power Magmar, and I don't think that crit mattered, as they managed to get up Trick Room with the Sinistcha here, unfortunately. But now we have Dragalge, who's pretty slow under the Trick Room, and they Earth Power Dragalge, and that doesn't manage to KO Dragalge, so we go for Scald into Ursaluna in order to take it out, and they Shadow Ball into Dragonite, breaking our multi-scale. They reveal that they have Armorage in the last spot, and I thought that they were going to try and save their Armorage since we just locked in Scald, but they don't do that, and they managed to KO both of my mons here with Shadow Ball and Armor Cannon, and we're still in Trick Room, and we don't have a way to protect anyways to try and save ourselves for outside of Trick Room, so Dragapult is just going to get messed up by Sinistcha and Armorage. Okay, it's on the beginning of the second game that I realized that I don't think the Ursaluna actually had to protect. I think the set was like Blood Moon, Earth Power, Moonblast, and Calm Mind, so they don't actually have a way to save Ursaluna, and I definitely want to deal with that, because that's what did the most damage in that first game, really. We lead Dragapult and Dragonite again, and they lead Indeedee Ursaluna, but since I know Ursaluna doesn't have Protect, and Indeedee also didn't have Redirection, I just go for the Dragon Darts into Ursaluna, and we go for the Terrifying Terra Blast into Ursaluna in order to take it out, and Indeedee gets a Trick Room, but now we have pretty much all the health of our mons. They do crit Dragonite here, which, even though we're multi-scale, it's gonna super hurt, but we can just Terra Blast into Indeedee, and they don't manage to KO Dragapult, so we get both our Dragon Darts. However, we kind of low-roll that second Dragon Darts and Armorage lives, which is a little annoying. We can pick up the KO with Extreme Speed here, and thankfully Indeedee went for the Heal Pulse to try and heal up, but Sinistcha now gets to come in with Indeedee, and they don't have too much offensive pressure at this point, so we can afford to let Dragonite go down for Magmar to take the field, and we can knock off Sinistcha in order to get rid of its Figgy Berry to even further decrease their healing potential, as we're just going to follow me, so that way if Indeedee went for the Heal Pulse into Sinistcha, they would have ended up healing up Magmar, but now that we have Dragalge on the field, Dragalge can easily clean up the game with its poison type moves. For this last game, I'm really not quite sure what my adjustment should be, so I'm pretty sure I lead the same mons of Dragonite and Dragapult, and they decided to lead Sinistcha, but they also lead Incineroar here, which is a bit bad for us because Dragonite is going to get intimidated and faked out because we are the multi-scale on Dragonite. It's also going to break multi-scale, so I just swap into Dragalge, figuring that they might try to Terra Fairy to set up Trick Room again, but they don't Terra Fairy, they just go for the fake out into Dragalge, and we get to KO Sinistcha, which means that them getting up Trick Room this game is going to be really tough because they would have to bring in Indeedee again, but I don't really need Dragapult at this point, so I just go for some Ghost type damage into Incineroar, as Incineroar goes for Fire type damage back, and we catch the Earth Power on Dragonite, which is pretty nice, as I double Incineroar in order to get rid of it here, as the Ursaluna goes for Moonblast into Dragonite, but the multi-scale makes it so that doesn't do too much damage, and we're just gonna double Armorage again, and I don't think that Extreme Speed crit matters, as we just get off the Terra Ghost into it, and Dragonite lives the second Moonblast because of our multi-scale, and we can just super effective Ice Spinner into Ursaluna, as Magmar is now on the field in order to knock off the Ursaluna's leftovers, so I won't get any more healing for the rest of the game, but we get the Ice Spinner KO on Ursaluna, and that's gonna wrap things up there. Okay, looks like we got Fire, Water, Grass, and Grass again. The Corviknight is Bulk Up, Brave Bird, Body Press, Rouge, so no Tailwind. And they also have their own Choice Band Dragapult. So we could do something like... I feel like Magcargo actually counters a lot here if they don't bring Primarina, but that's a pretty big if, considering that I think the only thing that we can use to safely beat Primarina is Terraflying Dragonite or Magnezone. So let's start Magnezone. And then maybe Terraflying Dragonite in order to... because Dragonite can take at least one Dragon Darts with the multi-scale. Perhaps deal with Chandelure. Chandelure's like pretty fast though. Maybe do Magnezone, Dragapult, and then Magmar and Magcargo in the back. I feel it could be a good idea. Okay, they do Whimsicott, Dragapult, so they can just start with Tailwind and then attack with Dragapult. So what if we just Flash Cannon Whimsicott? It is Covert Cloak. Or we could Flash Cannon Dragapult and swap in Magmar. I think getting the most damage that we can get into Dragapult is fine here, and then swapping in Magmar to perhaps burn them on the next turn. They do Tailwind, and they do go for the Dragon Darts. That hurts a lot. Okay, well now they're Choice Banded into Darts, and the Whimsicott doesn't Encore. So doesn't have anything to really hit Magnezone here, so we can pretty safely Flash Cannon the spot I'm going to say. And then, I guess Magmar's just going to die, but we'll go for the Clear Smog and a Whimsicott, and we'll see what happens. Okay, they decided to swap in Rillaboom, which is fine for us, and they Encore Magnezone, and we get the Clear Smog, and that does a lot of damage into Whimsicott, and the Flash Cannon does a lot of damage into Rillaboom. But now what happens? Because Magmar gets Grassy Terrain health to probably survive another Darts. So could we just... They don't really have anything to hurt either Pokemon, because they have to... Oh, they do have Low Kick on Rillaboom, but I can just redirect with Magmar here. Or we can make the Giga play of switching in Magcargo and saving Magnezone for as long as possible. Or we could go Terra Electric. Actually, I think going Terra Electric doesn't really be... Let's swap in Dragapult here and Clear Smog the Whimsicott and just see what happens. Okay, they Moonblast into Magmar, and they Low-Kick Dragapult. Nice. Alright, free turn there. We get rid of Whimsicott, so they only have one turn left. Because of that Moonblast, Magmar can't take another Darts. And they actually decide to swap in Primarina here. I really don't know what this endgame is going to have to look like. We could Terra Ghost and Terra Blast into Primarina to try and KO it in one shot, and I feel like they have to Hyper Voice into Magmar in order to get rid of it. But do we really need Magmar at this point? I think the answer is no. Primarina does have Protect, so the plan can go completely terribly if they just Protect. Is Terragos? I think Terragos Phantom Force is our most safe option, and I'm going to Follow Me. They swap in Dragapult here. We get the Follow Me, and they Moonblast Magmar. Okay, I think that's our best option. Even though they crit us and Attack drop us, we get to Phantom Force here. So we will pretty much KO whatever is in this slot. And the Dragapult, it might be a speed tie, but we're going to Phantom Force, and then what will we have Magmar do? I mean, I think they'll probably sack Rillaboom here. Could just Will-O-Wisp into the Dragapult. I think that's our most safe option. Because they also have to predict which slot we Phantom Forced into. It could really be either slot. If it was me, I would be willing to bet that I attacked into Primarina and then swap out Primarina. They don't swap out Primarina, so we get to KO that in one hit. And they Outrage Dragapult. So we either won the speed tie or we're faster than them, and we're still Ghost at least. And they decided to click Outrage here. I'm conflicted on what to do, because we might need Magnezone to take the Outrage hit, but then I think we would lose to Rillaboom's Low Kick, so we can swap in Magcargo just to take the hit for this one turn. Or, better yet, we swap in Magnezone, and then we have Magcargo swap in to take a hit. So we can click Phantom Force into... which slot? I don't know which slot. I guess always Rillaboom this time? Because Magnezone can beat Dragapult. I think I'm gonna have Dragapult attack and then protect Magnezone this turn. That would either cause them to get confused on their Outrage, but their Choice Banded into it, so that doesn't matter. I feel like that's our most safe play. We just need Dragapult to win the speed tie again, and then not to be the one that selects Outrage. Oh, and the opponent just decided to give up because they disconnected. Well, I mean, I think we have this one wrapped up, so let's go to game 2 and see if the opponent reconnects. Okay, they did not. I want it to be known that I did bring Magcargo to the last game, and I think Magcargo was our best mon there, because Magcargo, I mean, I guess it would still die to the Low Kick, but here we have... What do we have here? They have Ursaluna Blood Moon, but no Trick Room? I'm really confused. They have Stellar Terra. I guess it's just Scary Face Grimmsnarl as their speed control, but we have Dragapult, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So let's lead Dragapult, and who else? I think Magnezone beats a lot of what they could lead, except for, like, Amoonguss. Them leading Amoonguss would be kind of rough, though. So if we lead Magmar, hoping that they don't lead... Who all do we hope we don't lead? I guess just Cleaver if we lead Magmar, and kind of Ursaluna, because it would kind of be tough to hit. And then, who do we need in the back? Perhaps our own Dragonite, and... Does Magcargo help me here? Kind of. Magcargo... Nah, Magcargo doesn't really help me here. Dragonite and... screw it, we're bringing Magnezone in the back. Okay, they lead Grimmsnarl and Cleaver. So we could just immediately click Terra Ghost and then hit Cleaver and then redirect into Magmar. But Cleaver, it does have Night Slash, so it can threaten Dragapult. This is the moment that I wish I was Flame Body, but they also have a Amoonguss, so I don't wish I was Flame Body. Do I think one Stone X KOs here? The answer is no. Do I think that one Dragon Darts KOs here? I think the answer is also no. One Dragon Darts will redirect into Cleaver. I think I'm willing to swap in Magnezone and then go for the Will-O-Wisp into Cleaver here. Okay, Cleaver actually protects this turn, which might have been the best thing for them. A Spirit Break Magnezone, so I could have just redirected with Magmar and we wouldn't have gained any ground there, but now we have a special attack drop on Magnezone, which is super not great. Okay. I mean, I think I'm fine Will-O-Wisping the slot again, because nothing on this team really likes being Will-O-Wisped except for Goldango. Even if they bring in Goldango, you can just knock off Goldango. If they get off the Stone X, yeah, they got off the Stone X. Oh, and that does KO Magmar. Really? Well, clear Amulet? Okay, well, they got off the Stone X, which now means that they break Dragonite's multi-scale. And that's bad. That's real bad. We need that. Now I'm just wishing that I click Terrago's Phantom Force into the Cleaver slot. The Flash Cannon also doesn't 2-hit KO the Grimmsnarl, despite us being analytic. I'd say we click Flash Cannon into the Grimmsnarl, and then we Terragos Phantom Force the Cleaver slot. Because they protect this turn, which I'm okay with. We have Flash Cannon damage, and are we Speed Time? No, the Grimmsnarl just had priority the first turn. That did less damage because we didn't get the Analytic boost that time, but now we can Flash Cannon the Cleaver in case they decide to swap into Ursaluna and Blood Moon, or you could just KO Grim. I think I'm more okay with just KOing Grimmsnarl and clicking Phantom Force. Okay, they do swap in Ursaluna here, so we get to click Flash Cannon there, and now our way through Ursaluna is going to be difficult if we don't get Dragapult back out again. They bring in Cleaver here again. I think I have to swap in Dragonite to get the special attack drop off of Magnezone, and then Phantom Force the Cleaver slot. As the Night Slash misses, and they Earth Power Dragonite, so at least gain some momentum that way. But now you don't have much to hit Ursaluna, and Ursaluna is probably just going to click Blood Moon into Dragapult. So let's Ice Spin Ursaluna and hope for the crit, and Phantom Force the Cleaver slot, and hope whatever is in the bag can be dealt with. The Cleaver misses the Stone X into Dragonite, which is kind of fortunate, but they Terra Normal Ursaluna, and I guess the crit makes up for them missing the Stone X there, and now we have to swap in Magnezone. Okay. Magnezone at least lives the close combat, as it gets Earth Power Magnezone. Okay. So we need to better address... I did think that they were going to do the normal swap into Ursaluna. It's just that... thought we could handle it a little better. The problem is that we let Grimmsnarl get up screens there way too easily. Also, I didn't think that Magmar would die in one hit from the Cleaver, so we need to address that differently. We could just lead Magnezone Magmar and then Terra Grass Magmar, because they really don't have much to hit Grass, because the Bug-type doesn't have any Bug-type moves. Also, Dragonite didn't really help there, because it ended up just getting its multi-scale broken. What if we did Dragapult, or Dragalge and Dragalge and Magmar? Because Dragalge can hit things with Poison-type moves. The only thing that has a way to be immune to Poison-type moves is Goldango, who we can easily deal with Dragapult later. I think I like this play of Dragalge, Magmar, and then Dragapult, Magnezone. One leads, Grimmsnarl, Goldango. Well, now we're kind of cooked, because they can just click Make It Rain with Goldango, and I feel like that KOs Dragalge. This is where it would be nice to be defense Terra on Dragalge, because to maybe live the Goldango hit. Maybe like Terra Water on Dragalge would be better. Can I afford to swap into Magnezone and just knock off the Goldango to try and increase its damage? I feel like I can't. I feel like I gotta be risky and Sludge Bomb the Grimmsnarl and knock off the Goldango now. They Light Screen and they Nasty Plot. Okay. So we kind of gain ground because we knock off their item and we Sludge Bomb Grimmsnarl in order to get rid of it. So they won't be getting up Reflect this game, which is good. But now they have ×2 Goldango, with at least no speed control. And now they bring in Ursaluna, but I'm pretty okay losing both? No, I'm not okay losing both. We should probably not lose both here. Goldango Make It Rain, and Ursaluna Earth Power is going to do enough, though. Magmar's probably faster than Ursaluna, so we can at least knock off its Life Orb. I feel like we do that. We Sludge Bomb the Ursaluna, and then we knock off the Ursaluna's Life Orb. Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. Make it rain, and oh, Dragalge actually lives that. Let's go, Dragalge. I have no idea how you lived that, but you did. The Earth Power Magmar, and we get some Sludge Bomb damage, but that doesn't do quite enough. So we could swap in Magnezone here, and then that forces Goldango to either protect and then Ursaluna attacks. It's kind of hard to make this read, but I feel like we gotta lead Dragapult and then click Dragon Darts as we switch out to Magnezone. Was Dragalge is slower than Ursaluna. I mean, I think I have to be fine with Sludge Bombing Ursaluna and then just Dragon Dartsing and hoping one... Oh, they Terra Fairy here, so we Darts Ursaluna, but it just barely doesn't KO it. That stinks. Man, that turn would have gone so well, because we would have KO'd Ursaluna, and then they would have Shadow Balled Dragapult. We would have KO'd Goldango with the Sludge Bomb there, and then it would be Magnezone versus whatever their last mon is. I think I have to... not Thunderbolt. I think I have to Flash Cannon the Ursaluna, hope we're faster in order to even try and win. Spit after up there. So what's their last mon? Would Magnezone have beaten their last mon? It is Cleaver. Yeah, and we saw how much damage Magnezone took from the first close combat, so Magnezone 100% would have won the 1v1 here, which is... it's just too bad, but that's how it goes sometimes. Ooh, okay, here we have... What do we have here? We have Torkoal, Indeedee, Incineroar, Mousehold. It's offensive Mousehold, too. It's Vulpix and Vikavolt. And I feel like, unironically, the best thing that we can lead into this is Magcargo Magmar. Because, actually, Indeedee setting up Trick Room would be really bad here. Maybe we should lead into then not doing that. Then again, though, we could... I mean, what under Trick Room hurts Magcargo? The answer is nothing. Even though Magcargo is kind of fast. Actually, Magcargo is pretty fast because we designed it that way. Why didn't I just make Magcargo slow? Yeah, I should probably lead something that keeps Indeedee from getting up Trick Room. But what is that? Let's do Magnezone and Dragapult, and then have Magcargo Magmar in the back. And, okay, they do lead Indeedee Torkoal, and Torkoal does have Protect. So it makes the most sense for them to Protect here. So we can just, even if they Terra Steel here, we'll do a lot of damage with Volt Switch and the Dragon Dart. Wait, they have Earth Power, right? Yeah, we need to U-turn the Indeedee, because we need to get both Magmar and whatever his name's is. U-turn! Oh, the U-turn critical hits there. Well, now we're not going to get to Volt Switch out Magnezone, but I guess we can swap in Magcargo. And, yeah, the U-turn is actually pretty unfortunate there for us. They swap in Mousehold, but what is Mousehold going to do? Because it can't... It's got a Population Bomb, but it shouldn't kill either of these mons because we both resist it. Oh, they have After You on Mousehold. Oh, that changes things a little bit. I mean, I think... Do I attack with both then? Because even if they Eruption or Earth Power, we can take it. I think I have to attack with both. So let's Thunderbolt the Torkoal and Power Gem the Torkoal. Okay, they do After You the Torkoal and the Eruption. So that's going to get rid of Magnezone and do a lot of damage to Magcargo. And Magcargo fires back with Power Gem. Way to go, Magcargo, being kind of the optimal Pokemon here, absolutely taking that Eruption. But now we can bring in... Who? I'm hesitant to bring in Magmar here for the redirection. It is Vikavolt in the back. Vikavolt has Discharge is the only thing, but they're going to hit their own Pokemon. So let's Follow Me and just click Heat Wave, I guess. I mean, what could go wrong? They Terra Electric, and they After You, but they fail? What did they after... What? Why did that fail? I guess they must have After You'd one of my Pokemon? I guess that... It's just not how it works, but now we can switch in Dragapult. And we can... I don't think we need to Follow Me with Magmar, but Magmar's not really doing much here anyways. And we knock off, and what is the Vikavolt? Oh, the Vikavolt's already Terra Electric, duh. Yeah, we Terra Ghost and we Phantom Force, and that should always win the game. I mean, I guess we'll redirect the damage this turn as the Phantom Force comes in. And the Vikavolt tries to protect, but Phantom Force is going to go through the protect. Oh, and the opponent just decided to full quit there on game 1. Well, I really wanted to have a game where we showed off Magcargo, and that was our only Magcargo game, I think. And we didn't even get the Shell Smash at all, which... I mean, if we Shell Smash, we would have been faster than Vikavolt and stuff, but... Ah, well. Alright, well that was Dragmag. I think 5 out of these 6 Pokemon are pretty good. Sorry, Magcargo, it's just... Cargo is more useful whenever there's like Urshifu Rapid Strike that you can have multiple hits against, and then you tear a dragon in front of it in order to make it so that it procs your flame body, probably. But other than that, with these kind of other Pokemon that we have that mostly are damage dealers, it's kind of hard to get Magcargo set up, so today might not be Magcargo Day, but maybe one day we'll have Magcargo Day. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, maybe consider leaving a like on the video and even consider subscribing, because both of those things help me out an absolute ton, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.